This podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Anything discussed during this podcast does not, and is not intended to, constitute legal advice. Instead, all content is for general entertainment purposes only. Listeners should contact their attorney to obtain advice with respect to any particular legal matter. Listening to, contacting us, or any of the links or resources contained within this podcast and or website does not create an attorney-client relationship. The views expressed during this podcast are those of the individual lawyers in their individual personal capacities only.
All the legal ladies, all the legal ladies, all the legal ladies, all the legal ladies.
Welcome to All the Legal Ladies. Unwind with us as we navigate the fascinating world of legal tales, precedents, and the occasional objection-worthy jokes. So, good morning, I think maybe at this point in time still.
Good morning.
Good morning. Today, I saw a TikTok of the gentleman, men's team gymnastics, won the bronze for the pommel. And so there was a lot of like, yay, he focused on that. And so sometimes maybe we don't all need to be Simone Biles, who is the GOAT and totally amazing. And we're wishing well for her. But sometimes you could just, pick one lane to stay in and get really good at. And I thought that was kind of a nice little message to hear as well. What do you guys think?
I haven't seen any of the gymnastics stuff yet.
Oh,
I was a gymnast last night.
Were you? What did you do? Were you intentionally a gymnast or did you fall real gracefully?
No, I was watching the Olympic parallel bar men's competition. And so every time they finish, they do. And so I did.
Oh, nice.
I'm a gymnast. And I told my son I was a gymnast. And I said, see, I can tuck and roll. And then I proceeded to tuck and roll. And he was like, Mom, don't hurt yourself. I was like.
Was he just grateful you weren't doing that in front of people?
Probably. Probably. But yeah. I was like, he's like, why are you lying to yourself? I was like, clutching the pearls. No, I am a gymnast. I did gymnastics in high school.
Oh, new things to know.
Well, not really, but it was part of PE. So we had the balance beam.
Like when I brag about how I was in 5th grade basketball.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So I was like, I am a gymnast. And he's like, no, you're not. Wait to deflate my bubble. But yes, I did tuck and roll as best as I was capable.
Well, that's probably a good thing to learn because as I've recently had, my daughter decided to fall down a hill at overnight camp and instead of tucking and rolling, she probably has broken her elbow. So
I'll say, my kids fall all the time. They should teach your kids how to fall.
I fall all the time. I fall quite often. Well, I haven't fallen this year. Did I fall last year? But I'm a pro at falling down the steps, either going up the steps or coming down the steps.
Yeah, I've fallen up the steps a few times. People don't understand how you can do that. I'm like, I don't know because I do it quite easily.
I do too.
Like you're walking and then all of a sudden you're crawling and you don't quite know how it happened.
I was on the phone once with Corey and he was like, he heard this noise and he was like, are you okay? And I was like, oh yeah, I just fell down the steps and I fell down the steps, turned the corner and continue falling down the steps while on the phone. I was like, that's just the talent I have. Oh my goodness. It is a wonderful talent.
Probably not in time for you to see it, but maybe falling will be an Olympic sport. They're adding new sports all the time.
I know. I was like, they added breakdancing.
Oh, I missed that.
Yes. I was watching the Kevin Hart and Kenan Thompson special. They review the Olympics, the Olympic Games. And so they were talking about breakdancing. I was like, breakdancing is a sport now at the Olympic Games? Oh my gosh.
I mean, if we let curling be a sport, I don't see why.
I love curling. Don't come after curling. I don't know what it is, but
I'm just saying how athletic or normal it seems is not a criteria for whether or not they choose it for an Olympic sport. Oh my gosh. So, the kids are into the sports that they do. So soccer, field hockey, they took swim lessons. They wanted to watch the swimmers. And so I'm trying to look and see when the broadcast starts. I'm looking and I'm like, I cannot find soccer anywhere. I know soccer's there. I had to Google it and then come back it's football on this list. And then I kept looking for field hockey. It's just hockey on this. Felt so dumb. Could not find them.
I guess that makes sense because ice hockey would be the winter sport,
Yeah.
right? So other hockey would be, things that I wouldn't have thought about but learned.
Yeah.
Like Marsha can do gymnastics in her living room.
Well, it was actually on my bed. Had to take precautions. I'm not as spry as I used to be.
A lot farther to fall, though.
We have a big bed.
It's like Marsha's going to come in later this week with like a cast on her wrist. Like I tried to do a cartwheel.
I have never been able to do a cartwheel.
Me either. I took gymnastics, I took all these different classes at the Y growing up. Like I took my swim lessons there. I took beginning gymnastics, I think 3 times. And then I took art. Still can't do a cartwheel.
Oh. That's why we need a Y. There's my plug.
Yes.
Why for St. Mary's County?
So you too can learn not to do gymnastics.
I don't think it was the instructors. I think they did what they could with what they had.
Oh, goodness.
Well, I'm going to try and transition this slightly and go to as a newish dance mom.
Oh, yeah.
You have talked about, Alycia, that you don't like the recital uniforms or costumes.
I don't like any of the outfits. I don't like small children in revealing clothing.
So what do you think about the gymnastic clothing?
I think there's a lot of butts like on the screen of like young people. I don't know. Like there's a certain extent to which you have to wear clothing that you can move freely in.
Mm-hmm.
So like I get that, but I don't know, like do they move more freely than they would in like leggings or like, the swimmers who have like the long shorts? Like if the men can have more covering, why can't the women have more covering? Like why do their butts have to be hanging out? I just... you try to find the line between, like, I don't like dress codes and stuff in school as far as, like, how long your skirt has to be or that
Shoulders are just so distracting.
But I also hate that I go to the kids section and I can either find gym shorts that go to the knee or I can find booty shorts in the girls section. I could go on for days.
Yeah. With a boy, I did not have that issue. But I look at all these, I was like, with gymnastics, especially when they're doing their routine, it just eases up into the crack.
Like, why wouldn't it be like a knee length?
Right.
Like a leotard that could go like knee length. I don't know. It could probably still be like a tank top or whatever.
I was noticing, for the men's gymnastics, they wear pants for the parallel bars. So they have the long pants, like leggings, and they are able to do that freely. So I don't understand why it's a certain uniform for girls, a more suggestive, provocative uniform. And then the men, they have their shorts, even though they're short shorts for their floor routine. And I understand the floor routine, yes. But why does it have to be a bodysuit? So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, then we go from little clothing to issues with teams wanting to wear more clothing for maybe religious reasons or cultural reasons. So the French government has a ban on the hijab. We've been saying it multiple times.
Yeah, that's like I wrote down that.
The hijab. And but the International Olympic Committee allows athletes, it's not a game show, to wear the hijab or other religious attire during their competitions. So do you guys have thoughts about the opposite end?
I just don't get why it's a problem. Like they make them out of like sport and wicking material. They can match the uniforms. I just don't see why it's an issue. It feels targeted.
It is targeted, and this has occurred prior to the Olympic Games. So they banned the wearing of the hijab in various games, football, so what we call soccer, football, and other sports. And would it be an issue, say, if someone was wearing a necklace with a cross on it. It's like, so where do you draw the line? You want to promote secularism or whatever, but where do you draw the line? Like, what if someone had a tattoo of a religious symbol? Would you ask them to cover it up? I don't think so. So I think it is targeted, and unfortunately, Muslim women seem to be the ones who are targeted. And it's just an expression of your faith. It's not saying, oh, we are not supporting France, or we're not showing our support, our allegiance to the country, or whatever. We're still representing France, but we're also representing our religion, or we are also abiding by our religious doctrine, expressing religious freedom. So it's unfortunate.
Well, and it just stands out that much more because, like the IOC, all the other athletes are allowed to wear, and just specifically the French athletes aren't.
And so now they have to,
ugly,
right? And they have to come up with something that sort of is okay, religious wise, covering their heads. So I was like, if you're going to allow them to cover their heads with a cap or what have you, a long cap, why don't you just let them wear?
Yeah.
Well, and don't you lose good people through attrition because you've decided not to allow them? So are they not going to find a different country to perform for or to move out, and so that they can be their authentic selves? And it is interesting that France, again, targeted Islam in particular because, you see a lot of talk about Orthodox Jewish women on TikTok, especially either wearing the wigs or, and I'm trying to say it right, a tichel, I think is how you say it. And so those aren't banned specifically. So what is the difference?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like the military used to ban different hairstyles too, right? Like, and that's a thing that has changed. Was that last year or so? So I don't know. Yeah,
it's that's why there is the Crown Act, because of the hairstyles. People, I understand that you want some type of uniformity, but there's also not going to be uniformity just by who each individual is.
Yeah.
And so, and it doesn't distract from the country. It doesn't distract from patriotism. It doesn't distract from the game. It doesn't distract from what you're doing. So when you're thinking about the Olympic Games, you're thinking about the best of the best. Let them be the best of the best in their authentic self. Being their authentic self, being your authentic self automatically puts you in a comfort level where you're okay and you can be your best self. But
actually looks like it was 2021. It's been a while. Yep. That's when they updated it to multiple locks, braids, twists, or cornrows may come together in one or two braids or a single ponytail. So you could have, because it used to be just the.
And it's the same in dance. Like ballerinas have a certain look, the sleeked back ponytail. Bun. And so your hairstyle doesn't stop you from being a ballerina. Your hijab,
I think,
doesn't stop you from being an athlete. Hair doesn't stop you from performing in the military. Yes, you don't want it hanging down because it could get caught or whatever. But as a nation and as the countries just need to realize that when you're just targeting different people.
Uniformity around what? Like, what is the standard that you're trying to make everyone else be uniform toward? And who does that reflect?
Well, and bringing that closer to home for family law, since that's what we do a lot, we see a lot of fighting over hairstyles or what one parent may want and what another parent may not want. in dealing with hairstyles and it's a lovely fight to have.
And
as an attorney.
clothing.
And clothing.
And where do you pick your battles?
Yes.
Which battles matter?
Charles came home excited yesterday because before he went into the NJROTC, he had an afro. And
A site of much contention over years, I recall.
yes, not because we didn't want him to have an afro, but because he did not maintain his afro.
That's
is
always
fair.
with kids, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And so when I have to hold you down to pick your afro, you might as well not have an afro. But
We're having the long hair brushing
yes.
issues at our house right now. Yeah.
But he came home yesterday and he's like, Captain told me that I can keep my afro if I wanted to the way it is now. It's a short afro. And he said, now it's in regulation. And my little chin hair. I was like, okay. I was like,
The little chin hairs.
I was like, okay. But he's like, yeah, it's in regulation now. But he's making, and it's his decision to cut it off because he's like, I don't want to have hat hair, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, at least it's your decision. But it doesn't affect your appearance because you still have to wear the uniform. You still have to look neat and tidy. If it was untidy, unkempt, then yes, that would be against regulation, but it's not affecting your performance. So I don't see why it's a problem.
My kids have to wear a uniform for school. And so when they said, I want to have some color in my hair, okay. So they each have little streaks of either pink or purple, and that allows them to express themselves while still maintaining the standards that the school has set. And I think it's appropriate. But yeah, the long hair and the combing. You have to comb your hair no matter who you are.
Yeah.
So, well, on that note, let's take a recess. And have some fun spinning our wheel.
Caught everyone in the room off guard.
Yes, I did. Well, I went to school, so then I figured recess is next.
Right. Let's see. You be the judge. You be the judge. You be the judge. Yay!
Alicia's favorite. You be the judge. We have a new wonderful assistant, Amani, back here, who is learning the ropes. So
One day we'll show our producer, director, assistants in front of the camera.
You're doing great. Okay. You be the judge. Who's most likely to have 40 tabs open at once? Tiffany's not in the room, but it's Tiffany. It's Tiffany. Tiffany has 150, 300 tabs open at once.
you
I
can't
guess-
see it when it's that tiny.
I have a lot of tabs open.
I was like, I might on one day, but then I close them all. Like they're not going day to day.
If I can't read what the tab is, then I have to close tabs.
Yeah, I have my it chimes, whatever, every time an email comes in, and sometimes it's go beep, 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 because I have 4 email tabs open. So yeah.
Oh,
Well, we've all got our thing. Mine is actual physical clutter.
yes.
Ours is the internet clutter. Although like phone tabs, I'm like, I don't see them, so they don't exist to me. So they're just, I don't know, a historical record.
Whereas
I don't
I'm like,
think to
close.
Of course, my husband gets upset with me because of notifications on my phone. I was like, I view it like an activity feed. So like, I don't clear them. They're just, I don't know, you scroll back and they exist every now and then. I might clear them all, but
Right.
I'm not pressed about it. Like I don't think about the notifications, and he dies when he looks at my phone.
Yeah, Charles and Cora are like, why you have so many tabs open on your phone? I was like, because I go back. It's easy. It's like, yeah, it's a history of what I've done for the day or the past week.
Some of us the past 6 months.
Yeah.
I have individually recipe tabs open that I might go to on a regular basis, or like the kids' school, but like, or Dropout TV because I watch that for fun.
Flip a coin is up. If they tend to start arguing about something, flip a coin. All right. Who's most likely to appear in a music video? It's not me. It's one of the two of you.
Yeah, probably one of the two of us. Mainly because Why not? If you search the internet, you will find me playing Dungeons and Dragons on Twitch at some point in time. Yes, I see your face back there, Lonnie. So, if somebody came up to me and said, "Hey, would you be a background in our music video?" Sure. Yeah.
Marsha's up there dancing at every wedding.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Play the wobble, cha-cha slide.
You'll see me running for the exits, just like I do every time it's TikTok filming day. All right, last one. Who's most likely to have the worst yearbook photo? That's got to be me, right?
No, I have taken some awful yearbook.
Are we going to have to dig out our yearbooks
goodness.
and have a head-to-head competition?
Oh my God. No, not my
That's gonna be a
college
TikTok
yearbook.
now.
My college yearbook photo was okay.
There were college yearbooks?
Yeah.
Sure.
I might have had one for senior year, but I don't know that I've ever looked at it.
Me neither.
Yeah. I have it at home. But my high school one, I missed the original yearbook photo shoot day. And then we came back from vacation and my hair was just not doing right. So I was like, oh.
I think it was my 9th grade yearbook photos. I dyed my hair black in the 8th grade. And so that was growing out. It
Oh.
was like brown, black.
I don't even remember freshman, sophomore, junior. I just remember my senior high school yearbook photo. I was like, oh.
I loved my senior pictures. But I got my braces off. I had long hair. I was wearing contacts then. So
I believe my mom and I argued about my outfit the morning of my senior pictures. I ended up wearing something different and then it looked terrible. And then I did the retakes and it's, I don't know.
Well, I think we're going to have to bring those yearbooks in so we can maybe do a TikTok of.
I think I
from
have
before
all
us
of my yearbooks. I mean, where they are, I have no idea.
I only have my senior.
The basement of requirement.
I did not care about my high school that much.
I've got elementary on, like kindergarten through.
No. But,
No,
okay.
just senior high school
Senior high school. We'll bring it in.
and senior college and law school.
There's a law school.
There was not a law.
Not a law school yearbook, but at Howard, it's so amazing that each class has their photo on the walls at Howard. So you can go back to like the 1800s and onwards and see who was in that class. So we have, Thurgood Marshall, Governor Wilder from Virginia. So
That's awesome. No, nope. So senior year. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on to our last segment, childhood traumas.
Moving on from traumatic photos.
Traumatic photos to traumatic trials. We're going to read a case story from attorneys on Reddit.
All right.
Pass down to Marsha.
Haley Joel Osteen. Oh, that's interesting. Probate court hearings being done via Zoom in Harris County, Texas a few weeks ago. All uncontested matters, very pro forma. One of the airship witnesses popped up on Zoom shirtless, laying on a massage table while getting a massage. Whew. I will not say what popped into my mind. He told the judge it was a medical massage and he had been unable to reschedule it. Judge rolled with it, and the guy gave his testimony. That was a very...
Sometimes you just want to get it over with, right?
Yep. Just moving on.
Moving on.
Okay. I want to hear what was in your mind.
As long as he wasn't having a happy ending.
There it was.
Yeah, there it goes.
Yes.
Now, I've seen people in cars that are clearly moving.
Like that guy that was appeared in traffic court.
Driving while suspended?
Driving while suspended, and he was driving.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was it? And then they unraveled it later, and it's like, well, he's driving while suspended charges, but I can't find that you ever had a license. So it's really driving without a license, not driving while suspended.
Exactly. I was like, People, Zoom court has changed or being allowed to participate via Zoom has changed the way court takes place. You never know what might happen. You might think you're on mute, but you're not.
You may think you're a human, but you look like a cat. Oh gosh, Amani, we're gonna have to Google that.
Oh, do you not know that one? Oh, that's like
That was pandemic lore.
I
yeah.
am not a cat, Your Honor.
But he got his Zoom
He
stuck
was
as a
so
cat.
serious. People's names being, dear Lord, what?
Uh-huh. Yep. Yep.
Yes, yeah. Hearing people in the background.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, shut up. Custody court. Shut up. Yelling at your kids.
Understandable, though.
Yeah. Because when I'm on Zoom, Charles likes to pop in and say, who you talking to? Tell him I said hello. So I have to warn him. I'm in court. Shush. Because he always thinks I'm talking to either Alycia Cat or both of them. Tell Miss Alycia, Miss Cat, I said hello. I'm not talking to them. Thank you.
Well, thank you for spending the time with us. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of All the Legal Ladies. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok. If you are watching us on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and listen to the audio on your favorite digital streaming platform. Don't get a massage while appearing in court or become a cat. Next time, we'll see you next
Only for this cat.
week. Only.